Welcome to the Herd's official YouTube channel. Make sure to like and subscribe. Don't forget to check out the Colin Cowherd podcast, all of our NFL instant reactions, and more football content. Last week, I did something I never do with my picks. I said I'm taking all favorites. I don't like favorites. This week, once again, I'm doing something you shouldn't do. Taking road favorites. They tell you don't do that. I don't love the numbers. I like the numbers more this week than last week. I just end up doing well last week. So the last couple of weeks, it's a lot of favorites. But it's been working. I'm going to do it again, and here we go.
That's a hot one. Let's blaze it up.
Fire it up.
It's Colin's Blazin' 5. 49ers at Giants.
I like the Niners minus 2.5 at the Giants without Scattaboo. Listen, the Giants, they're not playing clean football. And the Niners have the number 2 passing offense, and the Giants' pass defense stinks. The Niners are 2-0 after a loss, and I like taking well-coached teams after they play poorly. The Niners last week, not buttoned up. They're in a bad mood. No Malik Neighbors, no Cam Scattaboo. 4 of the 5 losses by the Giants this year, defense isn't very good, have been by 12-plus points, too many penalties. They give up big plays, and I think Mac Jones can burn you. I like the Niners to win and cover the spread, 28-23.
Bears at Bengals.
I think it's a good matchup for Chicago. I'll take the road favorite minus 2.5. Since week 4, well, the Bears are 4-1 and the Bengals are 1-5. So there's that. Bears didn't get turnover advantages last week, but they generally do. And their offense does lead the NFL in big plays. And the Bengals defense this year is awful. They're last in everything but third down defense, and they're next to last with that. They're 1-5 without Burrow. They don't run the ball particularly well, and Joe Flacco's banged up. The Bears are not a great team, but they can be very good when they get a good matchup, like the Dallas defense or the Bengals defense. I think Chicago wins and covers the spread. Final score 33-27.
Chiefs at Bills.
I like the over 52.5 points. The over. Weather's going to be fine. 3rd-ranked offensive line, Buffalo, and the 4th-ranked offensive line, Kansas City. So both quarterbacks will have time to throw. 5 straight games for Kansas City, scoring 28 or more, and their receiving tight end core is stacked. Number 1 total offense in the last month. The Bills averaging 6 yards a play, 2nd best in the NFL. Josh Allen, when he plays the Chiefs, he'll run it a bit more. But if you look at the games between Mahomes and Josh Allen, the defenses struggle to make stops. I think it's a classic Buffalo-Kansas City matchup. I think Kansas City's going to win. Take the over 52.5 points.
Seahawks at Commanders.
I'm going to take the Commanders plus 3.5 at home. Listen, Jaden Daniels hamstring and Laramie Tunsil hamstring both could return. 2nd best red zone offense in the NFL, only behind the Eagles. So if they can move the ball, they can get touchdowns. They also run the ball effectively, and I like that. The Seahawks are getting sloppy and a bit reckless for me. I love Sam Darnold, but he's gotten back to some bad habits. Right now, the Seahawk offense in the last couple of games is sputtering. No Kevin O'Connell in the building. Commanders win it, take the points. I like Washington 28-27.
Cowboys.
Cardinals, Cowboys, I'm going to take Dallas minus 2.5. They're just a very good home team. One of 5 teams that hasn't lost at home. Number 1 scoring offense in the league. And at home, strangely, they don't give the ball away. Only 1 giveaway in Dallas all year. I just like what they do at home. Dak having a really good season. Protection's better than I thought. So is the run game. The Cardinals, that defense is banged up and getting worse. Allowed 27-plus points in back-to-back games. Again, this is really, I'm taking Dak at home over a better team. Who knows who's quarterbacking for Arizona, but I think they're regressing. Dallas still believes in that building. They can make the playoffs, and maybe they can. Swallow the points. Dallas wins and covers 28-24. So again, I'm taking favorites. I'm not prone to do that. Plus the over on the Bills and the Chiefs. Mahomes and Josh Allen face this weekend again. They've faced 9 times. Mahomes has won 5. Allen's won 4. So when these guys came into the NFL, they had a lot in common. They didn't win a lot in college. They both went to small markets, Kansas City, Buffalo. Both the teams had coaches that had led their team in a previous season to the playoffs. Both are insanely gifted, our 2 most gifted quarterbacks. They played 9 times, and there have been wild shootouts. The difference to me is that Mahomes has the best offensive coach in league history. Bill Walsh is the only other one in the running, and Josh Allen has a very good coach. And last year when these teams played, remember that tush-push thing Buffalo tried to do and it looked unorganized? Remember that? It looked like they just told Josh Allen, hey, Josh, you're 6'6". Just reach the ball over and get a first down. And that's the difference. I believe if Josh Allen gets Andy Reid and Mahomes gets McDermott, they both win a ton, but somebody else has the trophies. I really believe that. Kansas City, when they played Buffalo last year, were better on 3rd down, were perfect on 4th down, outscored Buffalo in the 4th quarter. Mahomes and Reid do not beat you in the opening drive. They beat you late. When Brady and Belichick were running around winning Super Bowl after Super Bowl, they weren't blowing people out. They dominated the Rams, but every other Super Bowl Belichick and Brady were in were won or lost on 1 possession. The colder the weather gets, the later it gets in the season past Thanksgiving, small becomes big. The minutia matters a ton. Situational football is the key to all of it. Again, when the weather's warm, Tua looks like a Pro Bowler. When the weather's warm at 72 degrees and everybody's healthy and comfortable, that's not what the NFL is. The NFL is December. Half your defense is banged up. 3 or 4 guys on the IR. The weather stinks. It's cold. And the games come down to inches, not feet. Feet, not yards. And so to me, I look at McDermott. I think he's a very good coach. I look at Andy Reid as the league has pivoted to offense as the greatest offensive coach along with Bill Walsh of all time. And so the meetings are always superb. They're the 2 most gifted guys that have played the position in a long time and perhaps ever. And here's Josh Allen ahead of the matchup this weekend.
I think we've played them, damn near every year since I've gotten here. I guess you can look at it from a perspective of we kind of understand what they try to do to us, but there's jabs, there's counters, there's different things that you can do throughout seeing each other throughout the years of making things look the same but being completely different.
I like Kansas City. I think it's competitive. Later this hour, I do this for the biggest games every year. 10 best players. Generally speaking, whoever has the majority of the 10 best players wins the game. That's been the rule going forward. Today's show is brought to you by our new presenting sponsor, Hard Rock Bet. Great partners on Hard Rock Bet. You don't have to wait for week 9 to kick off all the action, and you want to get in on that action. It's the golden time of the year with basketball. Homers, hat tricks, always something to bet on. If you haven't tried your first bet on Hard Rock Bet, there's still time to get $150 in bonus bets if you win. Just place a $5 bet. $5, that's it. If it hits, you not only get your winnings, but $150 in extra bonus bets from Hard Rock Bet. If you think baseball is slow, even when the title's on the line, not when you bet. The average first inning lasts just 17 minutes, and first inning bets are one of the most popular ones in the entire Hard Rock Bet app. So you can bet if there's a run in the first inning or a no-run first inning. Fast, fun, easy. You can parlay first inning bets for a bigger, faster possible payout. Download the Hard Rock Bet app today. Make your first deposit. I tend to think the difference between the Chiefs and the Bills has not been quarterback. I think situationally in close games, I think I'd take Andy Reid over virtually everybody in the league. Bill Walsh is the only coach. I mean, Sean Payton's obviously great offensively, but I just think Andy in those circumstances, 4th down, big 3rd down, red zone stuff, and that's where these games are decided. It's the GMs are both more than competent. I do like the Chiefs roster, more than the Bills, but the Bills got a lot of good players. And so it's good organizations, good ownership. And I think the games are always close. They've played 9 times. Mahomes has won 5. Allen's done very well in the regular season. Mahomes has done better in the postseason. We all know that. So here are, in my opinion, the 10 best players in order. We'll start with number 10, and that would be Joey Bosa of the Buffalo Bills. Leads them in sacks and quarterback hits and pressures. He is the highest graded Bills defender this season, according to PFF.
Number 9.
Drew Tranquill, Chiefs. Highest graded Chiefs defender this season. When that guy gets his hands on you, he doesn't miss a tackle. 368 total defensive snaps this year. He's missed 1 tackle.
Number 8.
Rashee Rice, 3 touchdowns in 2 games. When Mahomes targets Rice in his career, he has 127 passer rating. He is an absolute number 1, needs to improve with maturity, but he's a dude. Rashee Rice at 8.
Number 7.
Deion Dawkins, left tackle, Pro Bowler again, 4 straight Pro Bowls, has not allowed a quarterback a hit on 260 snaps this year. Top 4 left tackle in the NFL, Deion Dawkins.
Number 6.
Travis Kelce, only tight end in league history, 90-plus catches, 7 straight seasons. Oh, by the way, he's led Kansas City in receiving yards. Leads them right now. 3 straight seasons. You guys keep telling me, Travis Kelce is washed. He keeps leading them in receptions. In those big games, I don't know. I watched the Chiefs last game. It doesn't look washed to me.
Number 5.
Chris Jones. He plays a position where there are very few men that can do what he can do. 6 straight Pro Bowls, leads all interior linemen in sacks the last 4 seasons. I don't think he's having a great year, but again, Chris Jones is like Kelce. In these big spots, never be surprised when he delivers, especially late in games.
Number 4.
James Cook, career high last week, 216 yards against the Panthers. This is the number 1 rush offense in the NFL. And it's pretty simple. Much like Saquon and the Eagles, when he rushes for over 100 yards, the Bills are 5-0 this season. So they're a lot closer to Philadelphia than you think. They're driven by the run, not Josh Allen, even though Josh Allen will run more this week because he always does when they face Spags in the Kansas City defense.
Number 3.
Probably the best center in football, Creed Humphrey. Highest rated player anywhere, including Mahomes, the Chiefs have. Now, he's a center, so he's not as valuable as an edge rusher or a Chris Jones or a quarterback. But this year, 354 times he's had to pass block. 0 sacks allowed. Probably now the best center in the NFL, Creed Humphrey.
Number 2.
Reigning MVP, Josh Allen. Number 3 on the NFL's top 100 players of 2025. What can I say that hasn't been said? Only thing missing is a trophy. Other than that, perfect quarterback.
Number 1.
Favorite to win this year's MVP, Patrick Mahomes. Leads the NFL in total touchdowns, 2nd in total yards. Nobody makes C and B receivers look like A receivers. Nobody has that cognitive spatial awareness, sees it, lets it rip accurately better than Patrick Mahomes, as good as we've ever had at the position. Now, Ed Oliver would be on this list, but he's not available. So let's count them up. 6 Chiefs, 4 Bills. Number 11 would probably be Ed Oliver, even banged up. Trent McDuffie'd be up there as well. So both McDuffie and Oliver are the next guys. I feel there is a slight edge Chiefs roster. I think they have more weapons offensively. The Bills run better. I think and that has real value if you can keep Mahomes on the sideline. Real value. That's the way to beat Mahomes, is have a good run game. And now it hasn't helped Baltimore. That's the way to beat him in big games. Of course, nobody beats him in big games much, but that's the way to do it. And a lot of this stuff, you could argue right now, Creed Humphrey's the best player in terms of his position, but his positional value does not hold up to a quarterback or maybe an edge rusher. What I do think is funny is Travis Kelce. And maybe it's the Taylor Swift factor. Everybody's like, well, that guy is, once again, leading the Chiefs in catches. Also, unlike the smaller wide receivers for Kansas City, Travis Kelce is asked to block. And I also think there is something to be said. There's a certain radar that Mahomes and Kelce have in big spots. Brady and Gronk absolutely had this. Brady just knew he could look over at Gronk, and there was this kind of unwritten wavelength that they're like, okay, it's the coverage we thought, you know what to do. And I think you develop that. Phillip Rivers, maybe with Antonio Gates, you got a tight end you like or a big target you like for 5 or 6 or 7 years, and it's a big third down. You look over at him, and you kind of just know it's the matchup we like. So I think Kelce in these big games with Mahomes is invaluable.
My only beef is you didn't move the Chiefs to the top of the herd hierarchy until Rashee Rice came back. I don't think there's any way, if you ask the Bills, hey, who are you guys scared of, Rashee Rice or Travis Kelce? Coming into this game, they would definitely say Rice. So I would put Rice ahead of Kelce. And the other thing, Greg Rousseau is an edge rusher for the Bills. He doesn't have eye-popping sack numbers, but he is an awesome player off the edge. I would have him in over Drew Tranquill, who's a good, solid linebacker. He's having a good year, but I don't think he's great. I like James Cook's matchup against him a lot this weekend. So I would have it 5-5, but I'm allegedly a Chiefs hater. So
allegedly, I don't think you have to take a big stretch to come up with that opinion.
A lot of it's fact-based, some of it opinion. But yeah, largely, I think this is probably the biggest matchup of the season to date.
Yeah.
I just think you're underselling the home field advantage and how the Bills usually wreck them in the regular season.
So I saw this story today where there was an underlying tension surrounding the Vikings, J.J. McCarthy in the building. There's an underlying tension. And what I'm about to say, I absolutely believe is true. The Minnesota Vikings this year are the Indianapolis Colts last year. The roster was excellent. O-line, weapons, head coach. The Colts just needed a quarterback. The Indianapolis media the last 2 years has been banging on the Colts organization. You didn't have a quarterback. Once you get the alpha to quarterback, it changes everything. But if you don't, you look incompetent. Quarterback is the stake. You can have you go to a restaurant. The vino's good. The sides are amazing. Bathrooms are clean. It's just the apps are unbelievable. The dessert's super. Steak stinks, bad experience. It doesn't matter. If the steak's bad, I don't care about the sides, the vino, and the waitstaff, or the ambiance. Steak bad, night bad. In the NFL, Minnesota and the Colts. Roster, like the GM, excellent offensive coach. Quarterback's bad, everybody looks incompetent. That is the NFL. And I will pay for both. A great steak and a great quarterback. Don't go cheap. Want to save money? Do it on your paper towels. Okay? Don't do it on your steak. Don't do it on your quarterback. You've gone to a restaurant before. A steakhouse can get everything right. The steak is burnt, too raw, just not very good. Ruins the night. I like Brussels sprouts as much as the next guy. I like that espresso at the end of the night too. Got to get the steak right. And so when I see the Vikings, and now everybody, Brian Flores, over Kevin O'Connell, I don't like his play calling. We don't talk a lot of play calling when you have Justin Herbert or Jordan Love. We don't talk about the Packers play calling much the last 30 years. Favre, Rodgers, Jordan Love. You don't. But you're under a microscope to begin with in this league. If the quarterback doesn't work, everybody in the building. You're literally going home telling your wife, we may have to put the house up for sale. Pay for the right steak. pay for the right quarterback. So my fingers are crossed because I love Kevin O'Connell. I think he's great. I mean, go look at Sean McVay in L.A. When Matt Stafford's gotten dinged up, a couple times Matt Stafford's missed games. Boy, genius. Where'd he go? Is it an imposter? McVay's play calling. It's very iffy. And then Matt Stafford. So nobody looks good with incompetent backups or reckless players on the field. With that, we bring in Eric Mangini. Jets, Browns. So here's the word. Chris Greer's been let go in Miami as the GM. They're going to keep Mike McDaniel. I believe interim coaches get you in trouble because they come in, they win a couple games. The fan base and the media want the interim coach, and that's not the best case. So I would keep the coach to the end. I'm going to throw something at you, and I want your reaction.
Okay.
The franchise has to move off Tua, in my opinion. I mean, it's a cold weather conference. I mean, it's all the good teams have cold weather. He can't do it. So college football has changed. They have free agency. The college coaches now with the NIL and the portal, they're like NFL coaches. They have to pay players. They have to negotiate salaries. They have free agency. I would call Lane Kiffin. And I would say, Lane, you've seen of these 8 quarterbacks that everybody likes, you recruited them. You've coached against them. You've watched tape against them. You had Jackson Dart. You know the conference. Is it crazy to say the coach selects the GM and that Lane may be a great fit here?
Yeah, I think Lane could definitely be a really good fit in the NFL. I don't know if that's what he wants to do. So it was he and Sarkisian, right, at the Raiders as co-offensive coordinators at one point. And I could see both of those guys moving back into the NFL. And look, he's had so much success in college football, and he's really good at that. And I think it'd be good in pro football as well. It just depends on whether he wants to make that transition. But I would imagine, considering his lineage and his experience in the NFL, at some point he's going to want to get back into the league.
So, when you look at the Bills and the Chiefs, I said earlier, generally December and January football, you know this, Brady and Belichick Super Bowls, with the exception of the Rams game, they're all one-possession games. Win, lose, they're all one possession. The difference between Mahomes and Allen is Andy Reid, outside of maybe Bill Walsh, is the best offensive coach ever, and he wins those little situational moments. I think McDermott's a very good coach. I think Andy's a legend. To me, the difference is they both went to small markets. They didn't win a lot in college. They're both insanely talented. Both franchises won playoff games before they got there. They were well run. To me, the difference is Andy Reid. It's not Mahomes and Allen. It's kind of Andy Reid in these big spots. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, the coaching situation that Patrick went into was about as good as you could possibly get, because you not only had Andy Reid, but you had Spagnuolo on the other side. And I know it wasn't great early there defensively, but that stability from a coaching perspective has been really good. I do think, though, there is an element of who is better in the bigger moments. And for years, you had Brady and Manning, and how many Super Bowls would Peyton have won if Tom Brady hadn't been around?
Right.
And it wasn't, there was an element of coaching there as well, and I believe that especially really early in Tom's career. But there was also an element of Peyton was around when the greatest player of all time was around, and now Patrick Mahomes is arguably the heir to that throne. And unfortunately for Josh Allen, he's around when the greatest player potentially of all time is around.
So we've had a lot of discussions on Caleb Williams, and I said, listen, here's the things I like. He's coachable because I watch him on the first drive. His execution's excellent. He's not rigid or stubborn. He'll take the coaching. Secondly, he has developed a nice relationship with Rome Odunze. You can feel it. They trust each other. Third is he's got an arm. He's got the tools. I do think operationally it's not good enough, and I don't know if he's ever going to be 68% completion guy. Where are you now? I think they're a team that's good, not great. So I like their matchup. I think when they face the Dallas defense or the Bengals defense, they're more comfortable. I don't think they're a good enough offense to face a lot of discomfort. They can handle, a little less of a pass rush. Where are you on Caleb, Ben Johnson, and the Bears right now?
Yeah, I'm a lot like you, Colin, as I see the good things that Caleb does week in and week out, and then you get frustrated with the inconsistency of play, and you want to see more development as a quarterback, as a leader, as someone who can run the offense effectively without getting the penalties that just kill you. And it's interesting, last year when they were right before the Washington game or leading up to the Washington game, they were 4-2, and then they had that terrible loss. And Caleb had 3 games in a row where he's below 80 in a quarterback rating. Here we are a year later. They have the terrible loss to the Ravens, and he's in a 3-game stretch of below 80 quarterback rating, a year removed with a totally different head coach, a different team, different situation. So I'm disappointed that's where we are a year later, and I'd like to see the jump happen quicker. I do think we have to go through this entire season, and I'm optimistic that he's going to get significantly better by the end of the season and take some jumps here, maybe over the next 4 weeks and then the 4 weeks following.
So I said it's not that A.J. Brown's a bad guy, but if you look at the Eagles, their most famous play is the tush push. It's ugly, it's inartistic, it's a collective, and then he's standing over on the sideline. like they're not built around A.J. Brown. Now, most teams aren't built. I mean, the Bengals are built largely on Burrow and Jamar Chase. But I think A.J. Brown is a good guy. I think it's a weird fit. Were you ever in a locker room, it could be the Patriots, the Jets, or the Browns, where you loved a player, but he wasn't necessarily a fit or great for the room? And, I mean, Dez Bryant, when he was in Dallas, like Dak was better not having to kind of babysit a superstar receiver. What do you do if you're Philly? Last week, no A.J. Brown. It's the best their offense has looked in a year.
Yeah, look, it's a really tough situation with A.J. Brown. He's a great player, but there's a reason that Tennessee moved on from him. And we see great receivers all the time where they get traded. And with A.J., he wasn't happy after they won the Super Bowl. He was reading the book during the playoffs last year. Now he started, expressing his dissatisfaction publicly much earlier this year. Yeah. And Bill Parcells used to say that sometimes, guys are a little bit like a bucket with a hole in it. No matter how much water you put in it, it's always going to be empty. And as much as you try to fix a relationship and as much as you try to make things right, it just doesn't matter how much you pour into it. You can't fill it up and you can't make them happy. So what ends up happening typically in situations like this is the Eagles get to the point where they move on from A.J. Brown, and then A.J. goes somewhere and maybe has 1 or 2 years there. Maybe he has a different perspective on things and lasts longer, but just seems like this is one of those situations where the bucket has a hole.
Okay, you're going to show some video here. I said this. Sometimes I trust my eyes. When you watch Drake May, he's got to learn to slide. He's not good at that. But when the ball comes out, it's got a little heat on it. It comes out tight. I think he throws a very nice deep ball. Some of it is, my eyes don't lie, he just looks the part. Tell me your thoughts on Drake May.
Yeah, I looked at him very similar to Sam Darnold coming out of college because the amount of touchdowns and interceptions and him getting together with Josh McDaniels, I think couldn't have been a better situation. And we see now how Sam Darnold's progressed. This is years down the line, but we're seeing all the potential that he had. And with Drake May, this has happened a lot quicker.
Yeah, no, some stuff just looks right very early. I said this when Justin Herbert was a rookie with Shane Steichen, the coordinator. I'm like, I don't know if he wins playoff games. That's what a franchise quarterback looks like. Drake May, to me, is the East Coast Justin Herbert. I don't know what he does in January. That wins 10-plus games a year if he's standing upright. He's too good not to.
Yeah, it's so good to see the development, too. That's what I was most worried about, is where we're going to get to the same situation where we've got 15 touchdowns and 11 picks, and he's making poor decisions. Right. But in that situation, good processing, good feel in the pocket, good looking down the field, a lot to be happy about.
Eric Mangini on a Friday. Great seeing you, Coach.
Great seeing you, and congratulations on all those honors, Colin. So well deserved.
Thank you. That's very kind of you to say. I certainly appreciate that. It was, we got to bed a little late last night. It was a neat night being inducted into the Radio Hall of Fame. And thank you to all the well-wishers and the people that have supported me through the years. iHeartRadio's obviously, Premier Radio Networks have been unbelievable. And we're again last night.
All right, let's start with the Dallas Cowboys. Colin, and Jerry Jones, he made some comments this week that had some Cowboys fans a little upset. He told the Wall Street Journal there's $100 billion present value with gas out there. That's why I'm talking to you on the phone rather than trying to fix our defense with the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah, not great.
Being a fan and you just read that or hear that, yeah, of course. Especially, right, as many fans are and do, and thankful that they do live and breathe by this team. And the guy's never really lied about who he is or what he's trying to do. And I think right there is just, I mean, hopefully he was talking about in that one particular moment. You know, maybe in those 5 minutes, this is what he was alluding to, and having a chance at a $100 billion opportunity. I think you might take 5 minutes as well and go answer a call. So hopefully that's what he means, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think once again, Dak, the high IQ, high EQ, intangible guy, brings down the temperature of a situation that I'm sure was all over talk radio in Dallas for the last 36 hours. Dak is the cooler. He comes in, makes a very reasonable, rational explanation. We talked for 5 minutes about $100 billion industry, and that's part of Dak's greatness. This is a noisy franchise. He always brings the temperature down smartly. That is the perfect answer for your quarterback.
It's a good answer. The reality, of course, is a billionaire's not spending 5 minutes on the phone call. He's prepping for the phone call. He's thinking about what they talk about. I mean, let's be real. Like, you know, the guy's a billionaire. He's not as focused on the Cowboys. Otherwise, they'd be better. He would have maybe gotten the Dak deal done earlier, would have been able to keep Micah Parsons. Now they're up the creek without a paddle, Colin. I don't see a path to victory for them. Now, maybe they beat the Cardinals and they get back in the wild card mix.
Yeah, actually, Blazing 5, top of the next hour. The Bears and the Cowboys both have very favorable numbers in their direction this weekend.
Although I should note, Kyler Murray is practicing. It looks like he'll be back. Not a lock that he's back. If Kyler Murray's in, it's a good game. If not, enjoy Monday. Let's move on to Jackson Dart and the New York Giants. Colin, I'm close to admitting I was wrong about Jackson Dart. I did not think he would be this effective. He's almost got 1,000 yards throwing, 8 total touchdowns, and 4 on the ground, which is impressive. Here's Robert Saleh recognizing that the Giants may have found something in Dart.
He is uber talented. I understand why Dayball went to the blue tent. I probably would have went too. I mean, kid's good, man. He's a really, really, really good kid. I think New York hit on this one big time. But he's dynamic. He's decisive. He's accurate. He's been a joy to watch over these. Just studying his tape over the last. He's been 5 starts now. So, and they're doing a really good job with him.
By the way, Robert Saleh, presence, the look, the deep voice. Robert Saleh should get another head coaching job. I really believe that. A lot of people have left the Jets and flourished. My takeaway on listening to Mike McDaniels after a game and Robert Saleh before a game, which guy has presence? Which guy do you think can lead men through a tunnel?
I mean, he was a leader with the Jets. They just didn't win any games. He didn't have a quarterback. It was a disaster. Rodgers stunk. Hey, real quick, do you think Jackson Dart wins Rookie of the Year? Because I remember draft night. There was a lot of laughter. Whoa, wait. According to some shops, he's the current favorite, Colin. Travis Hunter just went on IR this morning. Total disaster.
Keep your eye on the wide receiver in Tampa.
Ibuka. Okay, yes, he has the second best odds, followed by Tyler Warren and then T-Mac in Carolina.
I would go Ibuka and Warren 1-2.
Well, Ibuka has been a little dinged up. He hasn't been 100%. So he's had some big high-profile games. Dart just doesn't have wins. But I don't know, man. Dart's actually been way better than I thought he would be. And now he has no weapons, like no neighbors. Now Scadaboo's out. If he's able to do something and win this game, I think he takes a clear lead. He's currently a slight favorite, but I think he takes a clear lead. Tyler Warren would probably be my second choice. Don't you think he's been a driving force for the Colts?
Yeah, I would say receiver over tight end in terms of value and importance, but I would go with Ibuka and Warren.
Yeah. Okay. Final story, Collins. The Detroit Lions Obviously, they got a big game against the Minnesota Vikings. They've kind of owned Kevin O'Connell in the last three at home. Detroit will face J.J. McCarthy, and it sounds like Christian Darrisaw may not play. He sat out practice yesterday. That's your left tackle down against Aiden Hutchinson. Oh, boy. Here we go talking about the Lions and Jared Goff.
That's their whole thing. They want to penetrate. They want to get in the backfield. They want to get, typically 5 or 6 guys rushing one-on-ones on everybody. In that case, they run some pick games, they run some stunts, they do a little bit of everything, and they want to disrupt your timing and get in the backfield. And it's up to us up front and to me to get the ball out and do everything right.
Yeah. So this Vikings defense under Brian Flores was really good last year. They have not been good this year. We know what they want to do. Their back end is terrible, so the blitz is not effective.
It's also much harder. Again, contextualize. Why was the defense better last year? Because the offense had a lead, and the defense could pin their ears back. So this is all complementary football. Well, Kevin O'Connell doesn't know what he's doing. No, he doesn't have a quarterback. Brian Flores' defense, they're on the field too long, right? Defensive players get hurt. It's all complementary football. If you don't get the quarterback right, everybody looks stupid in the NFL. It's a great coaching staff. Thank God the Niners, Saleh and Shanahan, have Mac Jones as a backup. Otherwise, we'd be like, Saleh's a disaster. Well, Saleh has a quarterback in Mac Jones on the other side of the offense for the Niners that can win time of possession, that can get the ball into the end zone. So this is Minnesota's fine. You got to cross your fingers if J.J. McCarthy hits, and they'll be fine.